so dumb.
That's
And
the
yet-
one. That's the one.
Hi. Dennis, my friend, it's been only like 4 or 5 days.
I know, we're on an early schedule. Yes, I'm
Schedule.
got a family commitment on
Are you British?
All right, well,
Schedule.
Well, a schedule change. So the missus, she has to be in South Haven. in the
South
afternoon,
Haven.
and-
South Haven.
South Haven, so I'm going to take a wee drive, and when she's done with her appointment, we'll go to Maria's and eat the best Italian food in the region.
Hey, the best Italian food. Hey, mamma mia. Yes, excellent.
It's a really nice restaurant. It's everything you order is good. There's only like 8 seats in it, and half the restaurant is a place where they display their own cakes and pies and shit. So the bakery is like,
One of those places. Yep.
oh man, family,
Nice.
The
I bet they have a.
fathers, they're cooking.
I bet they have a great apple pie.
I bet you they do.
Well,
had-
no, I bet you first. So.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh boy. So I
Let's see,
took my
I've-
foot out of my boot,
yes,
and I am free floating now. This is the new development from
you're debooted.
debooted, and I am now not only walking in the boot, but I'm working in the boot. I put in 5 hours today off and on at my other house painting, and had painters there, so I was involved in getting that set up and making sure they knew what they were doing and watch them do it and mow the lawn.
How long
Can't
do you? How long do you get to be sans boot?
2 weeks, July 8th. No, that's not 2 weeks.
Starting from like right now when you just took it off?
No. No. I got it a week ago, and I'm going to keep it till July 8th. So it's a 3-week boot. But I don't
but
sleep
you,
in it.
you took it off and now it's off for the rest of the day.
No, I'm going to have to put it back on to walk to the bedroom.
Ah,
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to
and if I want to walk
reboot.
downstairs, I mean,
Yeah.
it's my mode of transportation. And then by my bed, I've got my scooter still, so I don't have to
right.
put the boot on every time I need to take a piss. Anyway,
That's-
I'm very
that's
happy with the progress. It's definitely remains an injured foot. This boot not only is cushioned well, but it also straps very snugly. And then on top of it, the piece de resistance in the boot is the tool of the day. It has a pump. I
Yes.
think we talked about this.
We discussed that. We went all into like Reebok's pumps, basketball.
Oh yeah,
shoes
that's
last
right,
time.
that's right. Well, I've mastered that, and so when I'm driving now, which I originally did by taking the boot off and having my free floating foot that's wrapped in a ace bandage manage the gas.
So you
And-
can drive, huh?
Yeah. And then I realized that as I was driving with this bandage around, that it was easier for me to use my cane resting on the gas pedal
Oh,
to
no.
to zoom it up until the cruise control kicked in, which kicks in about 25, 30 degrees. And so I thought, well, what the fuck? I don't need to take my boot off for this.
I don't need no
So I'm
legs. I got a
now
stick.
I'm jumping
I can,
in the car. I'm jumping in the car. I'm not using my right foot. Brake is the left foot. What's your record? You've got 6.
You brake with the left foot, huh?
Brake with my left foot. My right foot is benign. That's 7. You've just sneezed 7
Here.
times. That
Hold on.
ties your record. You may not be done yet.
No, the night is young. So I remember when I was in high school and my parents had some sort of a carpool situation. Jeez. carpool situation with the mother of another kid that went to my high school, and I remember distinctly that she drove with one foot on each pedal.
Which is terrible for a vehicle.
And it's
Jerky.
terrible for the vehicle, but like, it's terrible. Like
It's jerky.
It can't be. Well, it's jerky, fine, but I wouldn't trust myself to have. I mean, maybe like if you're a professional drummer or something and you're used to the hi-hat and the bass drum or whatever, you have that level of control. But I would not trust myself not to slam on the right foot when I meant to brake.
But she learned that way.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, that's
so just like you did, she could say to you, I would never trust you using one foot. I'm so used to this is the way I learned. The problem was her instructor, who didn't correct her of that fault, who allowed it to fester and grow into a bad habit, because
that feels like a thing that was not like where she did not have instruction.
Right. Or
people that pick up a guitar or a piano or something and just fiddle or noodle around until they can play, often have a really bad like technique that is
because of it.
That ultimately makes you slower and not as good as the people that have good technique, and also like fatigue or whatever. Anyway, the fact that you're braking with your left foot and accelerating with a stick is kind of terrifying.
Oh, and I can only tell you that I'm driving with equal precision to pull into my driveway on a fairly busy street. I signaled. I used my left foot to slow down. I don't have the cane on the accelerator, only just to rest there. Right. And I made my turn. I applied the brake a little. I coasted in the driveway and used my cane to putt up and park and out. Just as accurate and as easy as when I've done it with any other limbs. You know? And if I wasn't totally comfortable with it, I wouldn't do it. I don't want an accident. I can't be dangerous, you know.
So it's an automatic, but you're driving stick. Right?
That's right.
Okay.
I'm driving
manual with your
stick.
Right? Yeah.
Now, and so the cane, which I picked up at a second-hand store for $5, is the totality of the investment in the fix. And so your dad, who had his car rerouted so it was hand
jiggered
controlled, $290. I did it for $5. And
that's why he's not a bigger donor to the podcast, I think.
Right.
Because he spent all the money on that.
Spends all his money on fixing his car. Yeah, well, anyway, that's from the medical desk.
So I have a restaurant complaint to lodge. On Saturday, I guess, we didn't really have any plans for dinner, and I suggested, hey, let's go out to this local smash burger joint. How familiar are you with the concept of smash burgers?
Yes, quite.
Yes. Okay. And this was like, I had learned about it in the U.S. Several years back, but then like this local place opened up, and so we went, and it was fine. Are you familiar with the type of bun known as brioche?
Yes.
It's sort of a shiny, fluffier sort of thing. So this place like prides themselves on having smash burgers and brioche buns, but brioche is not good for hamburgers. I'm
Did it
against.
fall apart?
It was just naturally
moist.
naturally soggy and moist. Yes.
Yeah.
And no one likes
Yeah.
moist bread
You should-
is the worst.
It's in my view.
It should be toasted as
I
shit.
would never serve
Yes.
any kind of a burger without a bun that's been grilled in butter to a little crisp.
It
And
needs to be
so-
crispy. It needs to be at least
and
toasted.
So warm when you bite into it that the top of it is like a puff. And a puff. And then the
Magic Dragon.
the drizzle, the drip of the
Yes. Of the juices,
cheese,
the succulent
juices
juices. Yes.
the onion that's been laid on there. And I'm a fan of putting on a raw onion right before serving instead of cooked onions. It gives it a very different crunch.
Yes, for sure. I've lately, in my burger ordering out, typically when I make burgers, and I am somewhat known for making really good burgers, I will cook the onions, but
Sauteed.
sauteed to very dark, but probably technically not caramelized. And recently, I have been ordering in restaurants an option with a circle of goat cheese with caramelized onions,
On top of it.
and that is pretty freaking magical. So
Yeah.
the problem is caramelizing onions the proper way takes forever.
Well, and this is my thing about the burger is that the explosion of taste you want and that you're going to get is the burger itself, and everything else there is to accentuate that. It has a cheese
Add
finish.
some crunch and
It has a cheese finish. It has a crispy, just puffy bun, and surprise, even the bottom bun has got a little grilled crisp on it, of course. And then the extra crunch right in the center of it is a raw white onion. And bam.
Yeah, it turns out I love a raw onion, especially if it's super thinly sliced.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people that don't.
Oh, that's true. And
So-
but I'm making this only for you. Only for
And
you.
I'm making it only for you, Dennis.
For you, I make this special meat only for you. When I see you, that's what you will eat.
You're my Burger
With a
King,
great
Dennis.
hunk of onion in the middle of your bun.
Tomato.
You will thank me, and then we will hug. Get your paws off me and eat your burger, please. I don't want to touch you. I barely want to see you eat. Just eat your burger with them sloppy lips. Just eat your burger. Oh, what a jip.
Get your cheese off my cheeks. Yes.
So
So hold on. So anyway, I wanted to finish.
there's
just
more.
moaning.
There's more.
Well, and no, I like.
More a complaint.
It's just. It's a. Yeah, just no to brioche on burgers, or burgers on brioche.
Yeah, I would.
Or
I don't.
like,
It must be popular though if they're famous for it, and I mean, there must be people that
Famous.
like
yeah.
the sogginess. I mean, one of my
Sure.
favorite meals growing up, and to this day, when I can get it, I'll eat it, is beef on wick. Which the bun, in order for it to be beef and wick, it has to have a salted bun, a Kaiser bun. And
What is
it's
beef on wick? I don't.
beef, and the beef is the beef. It's shredded beef in a moderate viscosity gravy, and when you put it instantly on this bun,
Okay.
just the inside of the bun gets kind of mushy. It's soaked
Sure.
with the juice, but because the top is a crisp that is salted
Yes, I see.
with
Yep,
Himalayan salt,
of course.
you are now like combining what's expected by way of juicy and bread sogginess, but as expected. And that's the only dish I would say that the sogginess is what I like. Although open face sandwich, both pieces of bread are soggy.
This is very like I've never heard of beef on wick, and apparently it's spelled Weck, W-E-C-K. But it's just roast beef slices, like it's
Yeah, in an au jus.
au jus.
And so the au jus varies by recipe, by cook or whatever, but
Right. So this is like what Arby's ruined. Like this is
I never liked nor hardly ever ate any Arby's roast beef.
no, but yeah, I never had roast beef on a burger shaped bun before. But this is clearly what that is.
This is the beef
All right.
on wick is the best, and up in this
If it's au jus, should it be en wick?
au is wick.
Hold on, no, it's buff en wick. I don't know. I'm just workshopping this here for our French Himalayan salt sandwich company.
Oh man, so we are getting ready for a gig. I get to go to my first rehearsal in 4 weeks.
Nice.
Coming up Thursday.
Do you remember any of the songs?
Down at Thunderbird on Saturday, and then we're off all of July. Which, with newborn of the lead guitarist, our J Dog, my 4th granddaughter.
Nice.
It's a welcome respite.
So we today was as you saw on the Facebooks, was my son's final day
Yes.
at primary school.
Couldn't believe how tall he
Which-
was. Wow.
There's you didn't really have anything to reference it by in that photo, but he's a lad. But like, so we've lived like the whole time we've been in this town, we lived next to this school, and the school goes from like preschool to 6th grade. So like we've been clients of this school for like 14 years,
Wow.
13 years, and he graduated, and now being next to the school has no value to us whatsoever. So we're
So
moving.
you've asked them to move? You've asked them to relocate?
Yeah, I'm filing an order to shut them down.
Starting a petition? Good.
because the shouts of joy from the children while I'm trying to work is just
Very Trumpian.
I can't take it.
Very Trumpian.
Yes.
Oh, I know. There's a little news on our that we share. You and I share.
What's that?
Potential world war.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's
we
cool.
bombed Iran. I mean, and Trump says now that we bombed them, they should surrender, but we're ready to negotiate. And one can only imagine that the Iranians, thus bombed and damaged badly,
Yes.
and damaged very badly, are saying, they're right. We
Yeah.
should just accept defeat
We were
and
naughty.
go to the negotiating table and say that we're never going to do this. Oh, wait a minute. Guy raises his hand in the back room, raises a minute and says, yes. What is it, Ari? What is it? He said, I was just adding the storage facility. We got 40 tons ready to go. When you're ready, we got enough for at least one, maybe 1.5 really big bombs. We can have it ready in 3 fucking days.
Yeah, what could
That's
possibly
on
go wrong?
storage. That wasn't destroyed. That's still there. And Trump knew this.
How do you know he knew that?
I know it. Why wouldn't he know it?
But I didn't know it. So if you
But
knew
you're,
it, why would
you're in Spain, and that's so even further away from Iran than where I am. Not true.
Yeah,
It's right across the sea. Well, at any rate,
the whole we're gonna go and bomb somebody and expect no consequences and just like apologies from our victim is very I don't know, it's very like abusive husband behavior. Like, I'm gonna smack you and
yeah.
and you will apologize.
Yeah. Well, and so the thing that's kind of interesting that people could take a look at is that up until several years ago, we had a nuclear deal with Iran, and the deal was that we let them get a lot of their money back that we've been holding forever, and they agreed to disarm over time. They agreed to inspections. The first
That was
thing
an
Trump
Obama
did-
era thing, though, right?
Yes. First thing Trump did, like he promised, was he canceled it. And they said, oh, okay, here we are, 5 years later, and they now have 40 tons of fucking enriched fucking uranium.
Yeah.
And it's enough to fucking have a bomb that's, I don't know, 10 times Nagasaki. And it's there. They didn't, like Helgas, the fucking Secretary of Defense, says that we eliminated their nuclear capability. What the fuck? You're speaking a little soon, you stupid fuck. No, you didn't.
Yeah, but hold on. Isn't they didn't just do all of that after Trump got elected this time? For sure, they were doing
What?
that the whole time Biden was president too.
No, oh, of course, yes. Yes,
So-
that's why I said 5 years later.
Yeah. Okay. So, but like Trump canceled it, but then Biden didn't put it back.
Biden couldn't put it back.
Right.
It was basically United States said, fuck you. And in exchange, they said to Biden, fuck you. You
Yeah.
had your fucking chance. We cut a deal with fucking Obama, and then you fucking reneged on it, so fuck you.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, whatever. And it's like, dude, what did you think would happen? Didn't you listen to what Obama said? Oh, that's right. You've been mad at him ever since the correspondence dinner.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of a. I mean, just the closest. Who knows what the nuclear war clock is down to now? But like,
Oh,
feels
yeah,
like
yeah.
we're closer than ever,
ever.
this week.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it was my understanding that because Iran was getting so, and feel free to correct me, this is just what I've learned, that Iran was closer than ever to actually having a nuclear bomb ready, which is why Israel preemptively started.
That's what
fucking
we've
with them.
heard, yes.
And,
That's what we've heard. Now,
and the story that I've heard, maybe you know this already, but the story that I've heard is that Israel could do only so much, but they didn't have the capability of the bunker bomb things that can penetrate the underground and destroy the labs.
the biggest, they don't have a plane
And-
big enough for the biggest
and
bomb.
so
we
and
dropped
so,
3 of them.
and there's only one country that has that, And so they asked the U.S., and the U.S. was like, yeah, okay, we also don't want nuclear Iran, and so they okayed it. But like, it's like, let's assume all that is true. Like, bombing their nuclear facilities was the correct move, right? Because
It was part of a correct move. However, it all depends what your objective is. If your objective is to eliminate their nuclear capability, then no, it's an incomplete move. However, if your goal is to limit their capability to produce more in the future, yes, they've met that goal. That doesn't address the issue of disarming them and crippling their capability to use what they have in storage. That would require knowledge and ammunition enough to destroy it. And
but did we have that? Did the U.S.
I don't know
have
that. That's
so
a question that's ongoing.
It feels to me like the U.S. did basically what Israel told them to do, and
they may have felt like they had no choice.
Right, exactly. I mean, you don't want a nuclear Iran, and so the fact that that like, this is news to me that they have another storage facility with material, but clearly, if we had known that on the day of the strikes, we would have taken that one out too.
So
right?
The person that I heard say that was the morning of the morning after the attack, and he is I'd have to Google it to get the pedigree, but he's very, very pedigreed and former, high-level military intelligence and strategic, kind of credentials.
Yeah.
And what he said was, look, we've known about these storage facilities forever. And I believe he said, maybe we know where they are, but they're like inside the depth of 3 mountains. And even our big detonator bomb, the ordnance bomb that we used 3 of, couldn't get this deep into a mountain.
Okay.
I'm not I mean, it's something certainly to get clear about, but I walked away with that general germ of knowledge of there's shit elsewhere, and they can put it together in 3 days to a week, maybe a couple weeks, is what he said.
Yeah, but God, it's so hard to know what the heck is true and not. Like, that. Let's give benefit of the doubt to that. Yeah, but then what the fuck do we do? Like, how if they have material in a place that we cannot bomb, that they can put together, but it's like, how far can they launch it? Like, I imagine they could make it over to Israel.
It's a great question. In fact, the factor that I've also seen in several reports is that Israel has a pretty effective an anti-missile system.
They have an amazing Iron Dome is some of the most amazing technology in the last 20 years.
Almost all do not get through.
Yes,
some
which
do.
is amazing.
Some hit a target, people are dead, etc.
Yeah, sure.
But they control not only their sky, but they control the sky space over Iran with capabilities. And so Iran is between a rock and a hard place when it comes to, holy fuck, what are we up against? Israel, now the U.S.
They're between Iraq and what country?
What's that?
They're between Iraq and... Oh, a hard place. Okay.
Oh, between Iraq.
That was a Middle East joke. Sorry.
Between Iraq and a hard place. Indeed. I didn't see it coming. I should have seen it coming.
Everyone, look at your maps.
I lobbed you a softball. I lobbed you a softball.
Okay, continue.
So, you know, you just have to see. The question is, death to the infidels, and if I die during the death to the infidel, then I'm rewarded with heaven in perpetuity.
Sure.
And yeah. And what we're going to do is, you want to annihilate us? Okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to strike your bases, or we're going to fire, and you may intercept them, and you may intercept most of them, but we're ready to go because we're pulling the trigger. You going to fucking nuke us? Fucking do it, because we're fucking crazy. And the people got nothing to do with it in those countries. The people got nothing to do with it.
What do you mean when you say people got nothing to do with it?
The people that are running the country is not a democratic government. They don't do the will of the people like we attempt to do.
Right. Exactly. Like
it's an oligarchy.
No, it's more
religious.
More than that.
It's a religious oligarchy.
Theocracy, they call that. But theocracy.
Theocracy. Bam.
But
you got it.
But
good word, man. You're so good with your words.
I word good. Like it's my understanding from what I've heard that the Iranians are so tired of their leadership, and the ones that are old enough remember back 45 years ago when shit was good, and like there were girls in miniskirts, and you know,
so regime change,
going to college and stuff, and
right.
Like more so than in like we had this fantasy about Iraq that like, oh, we will take out Saddam Hussein and then they will welcome us as liberators, which was ultimately totally false. But it's my understanding that Iran is very much they're waiting for their Arab Spring moment when they can.
Did you know that Trump said just that? Were you aware of that?
I give him my talking points to.
Well, he said with these idiots who are running the place.
But
these idiots who are running the place doing what they did, I mean, why not a regime change? Certainly people got to be sick of it. I mean, it was impeccably stated, and timing is everything. But
so like in on this particular issue, it loathes me to, at the moment at least with what I know, agree with his knucklehead in chief.
Right. I know.
Because, like, and he came out and he gave he came out and he gave that you walk down the hallway and you say, we have struck I watched it a little bit of that, and it reminded me of the Republican National Convention, like before I got too tired and went to bed, where when he is reading something that's an intelligent person has written, like it's like, yeah, like you make reasonable points,
right?
But then as soon as they turn that thing off and he's like, oh, we had the best bomb, we're the best, like it went boom, boom, boom. Like,
I love it when he says, oh, blah blah blah. It's opposite of what he had just said, and,
right.
And he said, yeah, I know. They don't want me to say this.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say it because it's the truth. I saw a little.
So this my previous statement confirms the fact that he can actually read. He doesn't read unless it's a teleprompter, but he knows how.
From what we've heard, except for Mein Kampf, which apparently he's strummed through frequently.
No, he has.
According to his biographer, who said that he saw it on his bedside.
Like when he went to go see Les Mis at the National
Kennedy
thing.
Center.
and they were like, so what do you identify with, the hero or the villain? And he's like, oh, I've seen this so many times. And then he couldn't answer that question. The same way that he couldn't say, what's your favorite book of the Bible? He was just like, well, I like all of them equally. Like, he's just he doesn't he has no culture there. But but he can.
Have you and I spoke about Conan's Mark Twain Award at the Kennedy Center in his closing speech?
I have seen it, and I listened to his podcast, and I am very aware of all of Conan Land.
Stunning.
But it was like I sent it to my father, like I was watching that, and I was just like, you take this.
Have you tuned into his new series?
I'm aware he's already had one season of it previously, but yes, Conan Must Go or whatever.
I've tuned in twice, and it is, of course, funny stuff.
Yes. So I listened to his podcast. He started doing this podcast before he quit late night. And he wasn't really sure what the hell this podcast thing is going to be, but whatever. And so once a week he has on some celebrity. Often it's like it's not unlike the talk show circuit where it's someone that is promoting something, but sometimes it's just some random celebrity, and they talk for like 30 minutes in a way that you don't get in a desk and couch talk show.
Yeah, right.
And they really get into it, and they have a lot of chemistry. Like, there's a bunch of YouTube videos, but then it occurred to someone at their network, hey, why don't we have Conan and the team there talk to a fan of the podcast once a week too? And so you can submit to be to participate.
Uh-huh.
I've submitted like a year or so ago.
I can't wait. Let me know.
Yeah, and so you have to be like in sort of an interesting kind of person, and I would think being an expat in Spain makes me something interesting, but whatever. And so they do once a week in the podcast feed. They have because the podcast is called Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, and they start every episode with the celebrity saying, I feel blank about being Conan O'Brien's friend. And so they have to come up with, melancholy or whatever the person comes up with.
Shit out of luck.
Sure, stuff like that. But then they have this alternate show that is Conan O'Brien Needs a Fan, where they randomly Zoom call with fans all over the world. And they did that enough that then they had the idea, well, what if we actually did a travel show? We went to go visit these people, and that is what started this Conan Must Go.
Conan Must Go, right.
And so I've seen the ones where he goes to Iceland or whatever. The one where he went to Madrid. Have you seen that one from this season?
I did see that
where he's fucking around with Javier Bardem.
Oh yes,
they are so adorable together. Like,
he was so good.
Javier Bardem, Conan said that Javier is the best yes and improv person he's ever played with, because they were just boom 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 boom
riffing.
boom boom, riffing the whole time. It was so beautiful.
The dinner scene was too much. Where they were just growling and chewing it and eating and ripping flesh. It was, and when you're watching it, that it's happening right in front of your eyes. This isn't
this is one take. Yeah,
you have a general idea. We're going to get together in the square and we're going to talk.
Yeah.
That's the direction.
Exactly. And the like when I was in Madrid a couple weeks ago, and I was, they did this thing where they go to the main park, and there's a place where you can like row boats and stuff, like where they were rowing. Like I went there and I saw all the tourists rowing their boats, and I was like, this is where they were. That's pretty cool. But we yes, so you were. This is my podcasting ability. I remember how we got onto Conan, and I'm going to bring us back there. But usually his guests are like Hollywood celebrities, like your Tom Hanks, or maybe it's like an Elvis Costello or some important person like that. But a couple weeks ago, his guest was this author I'd never heard of, which I now must find for the show notes. He wrote a biography of Hamilton, of Alexander Hamilton, and then he's written other biographies. Like his most recent one is about Mark Twain, which is why. Relate
2
to that.
volumes.
He's written several, but before they talked about Mark Twain, they talked about how he had written this biography about Alexander Hamilton, and he got a phone call from this guy named Lin-Manuel Miranda, and said, "Hey, can I come over? Can I come over to your apartment and talk to you about? I have this idea about turning your biography into a musical."
No shit.
And so he went over to this guy's apartment and performed the initial rap number from Hamilton. And this guy was blown away. Like, you just took 400 pages of my book and like condensed it down in a beautiful way into just this rap song. And so like all of Hamilton was based on this guy's biography.
And you've seen it. You've seen Hamilton.
I've
correct?
seen Hamilton, yes.
Yeah, I've not.
Wow, it's wow.
Crazy.
Wow. It's available to stream on Disney Plus, but you have to figure out how to do that with the original cast or whatever. But then he's written a later one about Mark Twain, and they spend the rest of the hour and a half talking about the life of Mark Twain, and how, because Conan is a super history buff, like he knows all about all the presidents. You can name a president, and Conan will talk your ear off about like what that administration did or whatnot. But
didn't know that.
They did this real deep dive into Mark Twain's life and how just crazy it was. Like, he had so many different epochs of his life where he started off just with the views of someone that grew up in the South, and then he over his life he matured and became so much more liberal, and like his politics changed entirely, and how he would, like, he was the most famous a person in the world for a while, where he would also get really he was really gullible in that he would fall for all of these scams where someone would say, "Hey, I've got this new machine that'll like that's going to revolutionize the world," and Mark Twain would be like, "Here's a whole bunch of money. Let's revolutionize the world."
Oh,
and
no kidding!
And then they would run off with the money. And so,
I'm shocked to hear that.
He ended up, when he was quite old, he had a lot of debt, and he and his wife really just could not stand the idea of bankruptcy and debt. So, like, when he was really, really old, he did a world tour where he did something like for a year he did like 4 shows a night around the world because he was an amazing, extemporaneous speaker, and everyone wanted to pay him to come and speak. So he did all of this he paid off every single debtor, every single person that he owed money to before he died, because he couldn't stand the idea of dying owing someone money,
and kept his missus happy in the life that she had grown accustomed to.
She he like bankrupted she came from money, and he like bankrupted her and part of her family or whatever, and like paid it all back. Like,
I didn't know any of this stuff.
It's a crazy, like, I really want to read the biography, because it's because you think of Mark Twain as the caricature steamboat, looking like Colonel Sanders sort of character. But
speaking of Colonel Sanders, Will Ferrell's got the Mark Twain Award, and in the opening minute when he got it, he dropped.
I saw it. Yeah.
Smash it. Recall
fantastic.
all that, and one of the things he said that was reminiscent of what you just said. And he said the first question he had when he was called about the award was, "Who is Mark Twain?" And he said, "And I discovered quickly that it wasn't the guy who sells the chicken."
That's a good line.
And you recall that he starts to thank his wife, and she's so wonderful, so gorgeous, so wonderful.
Yeah.
Takes it. What is harder than to be the subject of a song, or you got no way to say any words, and he says,
and just knowing that your asshole improv husband is down there with the mic, and the cameras are on you, and he can say whatever. I mean, he probably ran it all over with her beforehand.
He thanks her, and then he says, "Truth be known, she really hasn't helped all that much."
Yeah.
And she's been getting kind of lippy.
Yes.
And sometimes I just, and he goes on this riff about it, and she's making motion like she's going to zip her lip and throw away the key, and making her eyes and saying, "Oh, of course I do. Everyone knows you're a fool. Yes. Everyone knows you're the idiot here."
Yeah.
I'm good.
That is some good, between the two of them. That's some.
But anyway, the Mark Twain.
So it was
in the Mark Twain Award.
So it was beautiful that. And also, they Conan talked about how it was really contentious that because it was right after Trump had taken over the Kennedy Center, and. And that a lot of the people that worked on the night that he was there lost their jobs, and he specifically chose. He could have said, "No, I'm not going there because Trump owns it," but he made a conscious decision of, "No, I'm gonna go here despite."
Yeah, and his
Trump.
Closing speech was him reacting to that reality.
Yeah.
And saying it in incredibly enlightened way, and
yes,
and without getting mean-spirited.
No, exactly.
And calling it what it was in a way, which it really, in some ways, was not as much about Trump as it was about Trump's policies. He didn't make it so much personal as he did talk about behavior and beliefs and attitudes and things of that nature. So I don't know.
And deporting people and whatnot. Yeah, exactly. So I've just learned of a television show on the Peacock
Which I have.
Which I do. Which I looked. Normally, a thing will appear on the Peacock, and then it'll appear for me on one of the 6 streaming services. You know, your Netflix or your Amazon Prime or your Apple TV or your Max Plus HBO. But I could not find this one. It's a show called The Day of the Jackal. Have you heard of this?
I remember a movie called that.
There was a movie called The Jackal, starring, I feel like it was Bruce Willis. And
No, there was a movie, yes, but there was also a movie, The Day of the Jackal. So I agree with what you're saying, but that's not what came to mind. And this was older.
Well, there's a 1973.
Yeah.
Day of the Jackal. So it's a 1971 political thriller novel. There's a 1973 film called that.
Montgomery Cliff?
Starring Edward Fox, Alan Bedell, Tony Breton, Cyril Cusack. Yeah. But I remember a movie called The Jackal. But there was it's a sniper thing, and sniper films are always kind of exciting. Like in first-person shooter video games, the sniper rifle is always the most fun because you feel so safe and so far away. And you can just go bomb and knock somebody off. And so this is a new TV show starring Eddie Redmayne.
Oh, no shit.
Yes, he's the assassin.
He's quite an actor, I think. I'm pretty impressed with him. He really is.
And so
quite a range.
Yes, so it does mention Bruce Willis here in The Jackal, and so it's I haven't seen any of it yet, but I looked around for it. There's 10 episodes, and I was able to find it over the internets, but not streaming in Spain.
I can do it, man. It's on my phone. My TV isn't new enough to be able to connect with it. I've got to have a newer system that I have. It's
You're going to watch
years old.
A TV show on your phone?
Yeah, I've enrolled in Peacock, but I can't get my TV screen tuned to it because it's too old.
But can you throw the video from your phone to the TV? So you just have to watch it on your phone?
So far, no. I don't. I'm not throwing it. I would probably throw the phone and crack the screen. So.
Well, if you had any aim, yeah.
I aim to please. I know that. Well.
So anyway, this is a show that I've become aware of that I am intrigued by.
What's the name of it again?
The Day of the Jackal.
The Day of the Jackal. There's a movie by that name. Oh, we did. We already went through that. Oh, that's right. So here's a little. While we're on the entertainment desk, in my search forever, I'm winding my way through Barry, and I am incredibly impressed with how dark it is.
It's so dark.
And I am doubly impressed with his incredible abilities to write and direct, and particularly to act. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But now I launched onto Carnival, which
you mentioned that
went to 2 seasons, and is kind of like what's that series where they have all these macabre stories of almost like netherworld stuff,
I mean,
Murder.
there's one.
Lady Gaga was in it for a while, and it was a television series. But it's the same genre. It's like strange things happening and clairvoyancy and healing. Healing through hands. And what's amazing about it, that's worth noting, is that, and it went 2 seasons, is that there is no way that this show would get anywhere near first base in today's society. It's too dark, it's too downtrodden, it's too negative, it would never see the light of day. It's sort of like this, I said the same thing about the Western that I've rewatched. What's that? Deadwood. That would never, it could never be considered. Never even get to first base. Never.
I don't know. Like, now the television market is so fragmented that if you can get 5% of Netflix users to watch your show, that's huge. In a way that, like, previously, like, you hear television people now, where in the age of streaming, talk about how, an episode of Cheers got so many millions of viewers or whatever, and they're just like, millions of viewers, we're just trying to get a couple thousand. So I think there's such, in the same way that we have such diversity of, like, internet content, and if you want to learn all about how the earth is flat, there's 700 websites you can go to and read all about it. Or if you want to learn how Trump is Jesus incarnate, like, there's a whole bunch of other sites you can go for there. And I feel like the entertainment world is also so divided that there are people that segmented. Yes, there are people that want to watch fairy porn, and then there are people that want to watch political assassination shows. And
earlier on the on the political desk,
yes,
there was a point to be
previously
made that coincides with the segmentation, and that is that there's a segment of the voting population that's been the subject of some recent analysis, which is people that were in high school during COVID.
Yep.
And what their voting patterns are. And by way of example, they shared an interview with a dude who said the following things that were illustrative of what the poll found. Why they went to Trump in such huge numbers. And the kid said, he's just like me. He likes wrestling. He eats McDonald's. And when people piss him off, he gives them a piece of her mind. He is so cool. End of story. There is not a glimmer
he's an internet
of
troll.
interest in anything of
Policy,
not even the issue of self-interest.
No, it's just entertainment. He's the most entertaining person, so I'm going to vote for him.
He's rad.
It's like, who entertained me the most? Yeah, that guy. I want that guy.
Yeah.
And for sure, he entertains all of us the most.
There was an attorney in Detroit named Jeffrey Feiger who ran for governor almost like a stunt thing. And he's this really outspoken lawyer who was on all the billboards and very rich and wealthy clients and big, huge cases. Jack Kevorkian was his client, Doctor of Doom, who was, in Michigan's prison system when I was part of that system, as a staff person, not as a prisoner.
Well, there's 4 years that you were.
Yeah, I mean, what?
Yeah.
So, today, heat index of about 106, 94 degrees temperature, and I worked it in my boot from 10:30 in the morning until 1:30 off and on. Put in a few hours, mowed a little lawn, did a little weed cutting, because we got to spray paint our garage tomorrow, so no weeds can be around it. They had to be whacked or clipped. Actually, I used a clipper.
Well, so you did some weed? Is that what I heard?
I did some weed, man. It was like there was so much of it. Man. It was like bamboo.
It was like whack. I whacked some weed.
I was whack. It was whacked.
You're pretty weed whacked.
Pretty weed whacked.
Indeed.
Weedy, feedy. And so tomorrow more of the same, but I had these two dudes that this guy who I hired to do my painting, he had 2 college kids, and he didn't pay him much, but under the table. This one dude was like 10 minutes after he was there, he had to paint out, he was on a ladder, he was painting. The other dude took him almost 25 minutes to get paint on his brush. Had to wash his brush, had to do this. Then it started, and then had to get his water, and then had to go back to the truck and put on his sunscreen, and then he had to do this, and then he had to do that. The one dude was done with 2 of 3 sides, while the other dude was done with 1. And then I showed the dude, I said, man, you can't brush back and forth on this house. Every time you brush against your grain, you're taking paint off the house. You have to lay paint on there. Picture the brush as a roller. See how much paint there is? Roll it on and then get rid of your thing, but always move it forward. You're rolling it on. Get it? Oh, I got it.
Roll on, roll off. Yes.
Just the same. It's like genetic. It's like DNA-ish. But the other dude made up for it.
But also, like, until someone teaches you, you don't know. So maybe he's a total doofus and will never be any good at painting.
I tried to teach him. He didn't. I've done it twice.
Okay,
it's not that difficult.
Okay.
Hey,
people need, that's why we have more than one vocation available. Because
true. So true.
Because maybe you can't vocate in this one.
So spray paint the barn tomorrow. That's so cool because it's done so quick. The garage, 2-car garage.
Mm-hmm.
And I put a patio out there that I probably talked about. That was a rectangular antique brick, 5-pound brick patio that I put on the long open side of the garage, the disconnected garage. So you've got a patio on the side that juts out into the yard. And I've got enough brick left to do a half moon, so that you're sitting with your back against the garage and your chairs. You're on a brick deck, and then the top of the brick deck is a half moon circle, and in the middle of that half moon is a fire pit.
Whoa.
Yeah, baby.
Fire pit and a half moon.
Half moon, baby. And I've got a giant sun, metal sun that's about 36 inches from top to bottom. It's pretty big. It's, big sun you hang it up on a post out in your yard or whatever.
So it's bigger than your daughter's.
It's bigger than what?
Than your daughter's?
Well, good point. But let's not go there. But if you pound it up on the wall and take out a can of spray paint and spray paint it and all around its edges,
yeah.
Then when you take it down,
it's a negative
bam,
sun.
Then all you got to do is paint in the face.
All you gotta do is paint in the face.
And then you
That's what I
put
always say.
then I can put the big iconic metal. hanging
So the sun is. But the sun is just to make a negative paint space, or you're gonna hang the sun somewhere?
The sun is from my yard. I'm only using it as
As a stencil.
that's a good word, although a stencil would have holes in it, this doesn't. This is the outline. That's the way to think about it.
Well,
Just the
your plot has holes in it, so
what?
your plot has holes in it. So
Well, yeah, the brick plot will have
this story has so many holes
so much.
for the paint to
So
go
many.
through. Indeed,
So many.
your story is like a stencil.
That'd be a good name for a child. What'd you name your child? Stencil. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, we were hoping for twins.
Yeah, and here's his brother, Pencil.
Dweezil.
Dweezil?
Dweezil. Yeah, so I told you we started writing some of our own music for the Mojo. Oh, I know what I want to tell you.
Oh,
Did
no.
I send you the new Mojo?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
I
did.
couldn't because it
You
was.
did.
Did I?
You sent me some artwork.
Yes. What'd you
Yes.
think?
Good.
Outstanding. So you got to put some color to a version of it. It's exactly what I was looking for. It's exciting. I mean, it's like it's full of motion. You know? In fact, I think the coloring in it could be like explosive colors in the background, like rays.
Yeah.
Maybe even keep it black and white.
Or, yeah. Some, I don't know, sunset or color explosion.
It's the idea of a riot, an explosion of, you know.
Yeah.
I was so pleased.
You don't want to attract the Mojo Riot police, though. That's a different band.
I know.
They got their tear gas.
We're the Mojo Ride, and she's so aware and responsive. She understood that "the" is capitalized, which is what she put the logo on the drum set.
Yeah, but like in the record store, you're under Mojo Riot, comma the. People, you're looking under the M's
Ah,
to find the Mojo Riot. I think.
so it's good to know. It's good to know.
Just so you know.
Yeah, it's good to know. You got some
Okay.
sun.
It's not a 36-inch sun, but yeah. So it's been last week was crazy hot here. Like it was. I left all the windows open all night, and then when I got up in the morning, I closed them all, and I had to run a fan on my face for the entire day because it was. And it's going to seem ridiculous to an American that has air conditioning, but it was like 84 degrees or something.
Yeah, that's
Which if you have no air conditioning is like take
well.
off.
They
all
make
your
one-room
clothes
air
and sweat.
conditioners that you plug in. You know, I mean, the capability's there, and it's not particularly expensive.
True. And if the climate trends continue, this apartment will eventually have some sort of air conditioner unit installed. But we will see, because so we are this weekend. I spent a bunch of time picking out my airline flights to go to North Carolina this summer.
Oh, cool. When will you be there?
So historically we've been there at this time of the year, at the end of June. We sort of fuck off the last couple of days of the kids' school, and then we spend all of July there. But this year we're going in August. So we're going to spend July here.
July, head home.
July here, August.
Here in España. Well,
yeah.
I've got, our band is off all of July. I'm thinking of taking a road trip myself, either up to maybe visit my sister-in-law.
Well, you're welcome to come down in August to...
Yeah, August is busy for me. I've got double gigs that month and double rehearsals. And plus I got to put fencing up in 2 properties. I mean, it's like...
And you got your boot.
No, the boot will be off July 8th.
All right.
So,
cool.
Come that, I'll be able to work again. So, I did so much today that I was really surprised that I'm not sore, But,
Well, soreness typically comes the next day, in my experience.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
That's
see how you are
true.
tomorrow.
So
All right. I think we're... you got a song to take us out, or...
let's see here.
we can just...
I wonder
say goodbye.
About what day of the week is it? Oh yeah.
We are recording on Monday, which is weird.
I remember. Let's see. That was. Oh, that was a tragic ending. That band was.
What band?
Ba-da, ba-da-da-dum. Ba-da, ba-da-da-da. Ba-da, ba-da-da-da. Monday, Monday, so good to me. Monday morning, it was all I hoped it would be. Oh, Monday morning, couldn't guarantee that Monday evening you would still be here with me. Monday, can't trust that day. Monday, sometimes it just turns out that way. Oh, Monday morning, you gave me no warning of what was to be. Oh, Monday, how could you leave and not take me? Every other day of the week is fine, yeah. But whenever Monday comes, you can find me crying all the time.
It's sad. Because you got to go back to work.
Monday, so good to me. Monday morning, it was all I hoped it would be. But Monday morning, couldn't guarantee that Monday evening you would still be here with me. Monday, can't trust that day. Monday, oh Monday, oh Monday, can't trust that day. Oh, Monday,
Stupid day.
it was all I hoped it would be. But Monday morning, you gave me no warning of what was to be. And Monday evening, you would still be here with me.
Okay, that's it for episode number 252. You can find the show notes at happyhour.fm/252, where there are links to like the Will Ferrell Mark Twain Acceptance Prize speech. And you can help support the show at patreon.com/happyhour. We would very much appreciate that. See you next week.